Have you ever asked yourself, who am I really, really deep? Not your name, not your job, not your achievement, not the role you play, who you really are when all these labels disappear. Most people spend their entire life answering the question correctly. And today, I want to show to you something that changed the way I see myself completely. I like to call this the integrate soul. What is the soul? The soul is your psychic. It is your inner reality, the part of you that experiences this human life. Think of it like an iceberg. The small part above the water is your conscious mind. But beneath the surface lies something much greater. Layers that silently influences your thoughts, emotions, decisions, and the life you create. Let's explore it. The first layer is the ego. The ego is the awareness of I. It's something that you identify with. I am successful, I am an entrepreneur, I am a doctor, I am this, I am that. When you put I, it means that you're following your ego. And it might describes you, but it's not who you really are. Second layer is the personal unconscious. I like to put the ego here and the personal unconscious below the ego. And your personal unconscious is everything you've forgotten, but it continues alive inside yourself, like old experiences when you're a kid, traumas, situations that you passed, and it is saved in your subconscious, and your unconscious mind keeps bringing that things alive, but you don't have consciousness about that thing, and you have like loads of things as a pattern, as things you did in the past, like moments that your conscious no longer has brought that thing to you, and you don't know what you're doing, you just follow it. Many of the decisions you make today could be influenced by experiences that happened in the past, but it's saved in your unconscious mind. And that's the power of your personal unconscious. You don't have notion what's happening. You just following patterns, you just following things, but you don't have idea what's going on because you don't bring clarity for that. You are not conscious. And that's the second layer. The third layer is the collective unconscious. Think of it as a humanity shared life, right? Pattern that exists beyond your personal life. I'm gonna bring clarity to you now. Have you? I think you been in this situation when you're a kid. There is some games that you do that nobody told you before how you execute that thing. Like there is one game I used to do as a kid that I get the needle and goes the needle with my skin, just through my skin, not on the muscle, nothing, just on the skin. And I don't remember that nobody holds that thing for me. I just went there, did the thing, and come back. It's as if the humanity shares us the normal psychological library. It's something that is inner ourselves with us too, but we don't have consciousness about that. Who taught us? We don't know. Kids repeat from Ireland, from Brazil, the same game. But who taught to them? Who can confirm that both nationalities know that game? You know, it is something that our unconscious kept together, right? And we just do that thing. We have that patterns, but we don't know when that thing appears. We just have inside ourselves, and that's the third layer. The next layer is the persona. The persona is the social mask. That side of yourself that you like to show to the society, like your strong version, your happy version, your funny version, your successful version. But there is not wrong with that. But the problem is when you confuse the persona with your reality and you don't know how to bring that thing back anymore. Most people spend the most part of their life trying to show that mask to everybody, but in the end, they lost themselves because they don't know who they really are. Do you know what I mean? And you always try to be somebody that you are not, and you lost yourself into that world. The next layer is the shadow. Now we get in the most misunderstood part of the psychic. The shadow is everything that you rejected about yourself, right? Your shadow holds that thing and brings to you back. You try to hold it, try to cover that thing for nobody to see, but one day it disappears. It can be anger, it can be explosion, it can be your pride, right? The things you like to cover about yourself for nobody see that, but one day that thing's gonna appear. One day when you lost a little bit of your control over that situation, you're gonna show your proper version. And that's the problem for lots of people. They try to hold this instead of face it, instead of become better. And they have to understand that the shadow has the things you rejected, but if you look proper to the shadow, there's things you can learn with that, right? And that's the point I want you to understand. The shadow has the things you are trying to escape, like fears, traumas, all these things you try to cover that thing. But if you look the shadow to the proper way and to understand that the shadow has things that happening to you and you want to avoid that other people can see it, but the shadow also has things to teach you. And what most people don't realize, your greatest gifts lives inside the shadow, like your creativity, your courage, your confidence, your personal power. The shadow doesn't only hides your dark side, it also hides your light side. One of the fastest way to identify or to discover what is being covered by your shadow is to paying attention in things that triggers you. And that's one way to identify, oh, I have this point here, I have this trauma, I have this pattern that I'm trying to avoid it. I'm trying to make people doesn't know about it. And oh, I have something to learn about this. And you go there and re-significate that. You go there and you learn something about this. And that's the point. The next layer is really important. It calls the anima and the animus, right? The anima is the masculine energy, and the animus is the feminine energy, right? Man has a feminine energy, and women has masculine energy. And sometimes you think it's not good to have them. You have to avoid the much as you can. And or you avoiding too much or you have too much. That's the most problem for people nowadays, right? And it is important for me as a man to have some feminine energy, right? To understand what it is and use the good part of the feminine energy, right? When my female energy, when my animal is really being conscious about it and I know I'm applying on that, I get more connection with my spirituality, more love, more creativity. I understand more, I have more patience, and that's the side I want you to understand. There is lots of good points in the female energy and feminine energy that if you are bring clarity to that thing and put that thing in your life, it makes yourself to get more stronger. And the other side is when you avoid 100% of the feminine energy, you become cold, right? You become someone that want control everything, and you have to pay attention to that. If you are in a relationship that you want to control your partner, like obsession about it, you have to work on this. The other side is the animus. The animus is the masculine energy. The same way for men as before women. They need to understand that this energy is important for their life. And as soon as they understood, it's more powerful for them because they get clarities in this energy and become more stronger, right? They have more strength, they have more creativity as well. They have more courage, they have more purpose, and all the benefits of the male energy they're gonna get, right? And they have to understand these as well as the men in the version of female energy. And finally, we arrived in the last layer. I like to call the self. The self is the highest connection with your superior consciousness, your spirituality. And the self is who you really are. And the self is integrated to your soul. As soon as you understand and you let them work together, you have more direction in your life. You understand your purpose. You know that you are being, that just experiencing this life in a human body. You are something more deeper than that, right? And you have to understand that. So, what is the goal for the personal growth? It's not destroying the ego, it's not pretending the shadow doesn't exist, it's not rejecting any part of yourself. The goal is integrating all of them together, right? It's not fight with your ego, it's not fight with your shadow, it's not fight with your unconscious. It's make them to work together. If you bring clarity for all these points in your life, if you bring clarity for all these things, you can have more achievements. You can understand who you really are, because that's the thing is important for everybody. Understand what's your mission here, why you are here, what's the point you have to work, and why you're missing points in your life, and makes yourself to be the way you are right now. So stop fighting yourself. Get the points you're triggered with and make them stronger. And don't repeat them anymore. And that's the point for you in all these layers. Much more integrated you become, more closer to yourself you become. Understand all these points, become conscious about this, and go for it. You can achieve anything in life. There is no limitation. I say this in all my videos. If you understand all these points and if you start to practice this in your life, you can become the best version of yourself. And that's the video for today. I see you in the next video.